Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, today we are going to read chapter 6 from The Mummy with No Name. Are we ready? Good. So let's start. Chapter 6. I'm not crazy. I was a wreck. My paws were shaking, my whiskers were twitching, and my eyes felt like they were about to pop out of their sockets, roll back to my car, and drive away without me. I saw a mummy, but don't be afraid, I managed to stutter. Benjamin looked surprised. A mummy? He murmured. Yes, a real mummy. And he told me to leave before it's too late, I added. Benjamin looked around. I don't see anyone. Are you sure you're feeling okay, Uncle Geronimo? He squeaked. Baxi looked at me. Then she began to whisper in Benjamin's ear. I couldn't hear everything she said, but I did make out the words Looney Tunes, nuts, and lost his cheddar. I puffed up my fur. I am not crazy. I did see a mummy, I insisted. Bugsy giggled. Well, of course you saw a mummy, Uncle G, she said. There are tons of mummies here. We are in the Egyptian Museum. I groaned. I was beginning to think I should head right on back to my cozy mouse hole when someone or something pinched my tail. Rancid rat hairs! I shrieked. The mummy! Then I fainted. When I came to, an intellectual looking mouse with blondish fur and round eyeglasses was standing between Benjamin and Bugsy, leaning over me. You're right, Geronimo. You did see a mummy. That's why I asked you to come to the museum. I need your help in solving the mystery. The rodent murmured. I sat up immediately. I would recognize that mouse anywhere. It was my dear old friend, Professor Cyril B. Sansnout. Good. So, finally, in this chapter, we get to know Professor Sansnout. Here he is. So, let's take a look at his file here, the one in brown. His name, Professor Cyril B. Sansnout. Name, Cyril. Last name, Sansnout. Nickname, Desert Rat. Who he is? Director of the Egyptian Museum in New Mouse City. His work, traveling around the world in search of mysterious papyruses. His hobby, reading joke books. He loves to tell jokes to his friends and relatives. Remember that relatives are like your uncle, your aunt, your grandmother, your grandfather. Those are relatives, the members of your family. And his secret, he adores playing pranks. He adores playing jokes, okay? Pranks are the little jokes that you make to your friends or to your family. Good. So let's go back into not there, into chapter 6, and let's take a look at the vocabulary. I think today's vocabulary is quite easy, and I included all these gifts for you to understand them perfectly. So, I was a wreck. I was confused. I was shaking. I didn't know where I was. I was a wreck. I was a mess. That's why I put that little doggy moving around. My paws were shaking. My whiskers were twitching. Remember, we used this word in one of the legends? When whiskers twitch, let's take a look at the little mouse over there. It's because they make like this, and their whiskers twitch. and my eyes felt like they were about to pop out of their sockets, roll back to my car, and drive away without me. How do you think Geronimo was feeling? He was super scared. Then remember that he stutters or that he stammers when he repeats the words like, I'm not afraid, I'm not crazy. Okay, that is to stutter when you repeat one of the words or of the syllables. Then Benjamin looked surprised. Mommy, he murmured. That is to murmur when you tell a secret or to whisper. Here we have it again. When you tell a secret to your friend, you are murmuring or whispering. Okay? Good. Let's continue on this side. So, in this part, Bugsy is telling Benjamin something, and Geronimo is trying to listen to them, but he cannot listen properly each and every single word. That's why he said, I make out the words. I could catch that they were saying something, and he caught these words: Looney Tunes, nuts, and lost his cheddar. These three words and phrases, they all mean crazy, that he was going crazy. A mommy, a real mommy, are you crazy? That's why the title of this chapter is I'm Not Crazy. Good. Then I puffed up my fur, like with pride, like, I'm not crazy. He was really angry that they were telling him that he was crazy. Good. So Bugsy giggled. She did like this, look, like the character we have here. And Geronimo groaned. He was really angry. He said, that is to groan. He groaned. And then someone or something pinched his tail. And he said, rancid rat hairs, I shrieked. And he fainted. It's like when you collapse, that is to faint. Good. Remember the last time that he had fainted when Bugsy opened the door? And then he said, when I came to, I saw Bugsy there. Well, in this chapter, when he comes to, when I came to, as it says here, it means that when I opened my eyes and I was okay and I could see everybody, he saw this intellectual looking, because he wears some glasses and he carries some books, an intellectual looking mouse with blondish fur. Remember that fur, it was that little hair that animals have around their body. And blondish, it's because he was blonde. He was not brunette like I am. He was blonde. Can you see? Good. And round glasses was standing between Benjamin and Bugsy, leaning over me. He was looking at him. You're right, Geronimo. You did see a mummy. That's why I asked you to come to the museum. This is what Professor Cyril B. Sandsnout is telling Geronimo. Okay? Remember that Professor Sandsnout loves jokes and he adores playing jokes and pranks on everybody. Good. So let's take a look at today's activity. Okay, so for today, you can work in the computer. As you can see up here, we included this little image and it says you can edit the image in your computer. Okay, we are going to reread chapter 6. You can do that by going into this video again and following the reading while I read it aloud and answer the following questions. Okay, so number 1. What was Sandsnout's nickname? Remember that we read his profile, all his information that is in the brown page. Did he work at the Rodents Gazette? Remember that the questions that start with did are the ones that we answer yes or no. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Did he travel around the world looking for papyruses? Did he like jokes? Why did he ask Geronimo to come to the museum? And number 6, make a drawing of Professor Cyril B. Sandsnout. Okay, Now, remember, please remember that to answer these questions, we need to remember our golden rule. Did and past never ever go together for questions, and for the answers, do we need to answer in the present now, or do we have to answer using simple past? Simple past, that's right, because everything happened in the past, okay? So we are going to answer in the past. Okay, if you have any question, just send us a message and we'll be back at you soon. Okay, see you around.